It's Maria White from Resilient Journeys. And thank you so much for joining me today with practicing yoga. Today's sequence is influenced by subtle yoga, which is focused on helping our nervous system calm. So it's not about exercising. I think, unfortunately, our culture has kind of convinced a lot of us that yoga is about exercise, but that's not the origin of it. So that's what I hope to offer you today, is some time to calm and replenish. The theme of today's sequence is about strength. And I pulled this idea from Melody Beattie's book, The Language of Letting Go. And so some things that I learned from her entry about strength is that we don't always have to be strong to be strong. Being able to experience our vulnerability, our feelings, even when they're tough, is actually an example of being strong. And the trick is just knowing when. So I've got a mat sequence planned today, but if it is better for you to practice from your bed, I think all of these movements could be done from your bed if you'd like to do it that way. So if you're on the mat, just make sure you have a mat. And I'm going to walk back to my mat right now. And as you notice, I have a bolster, or you can have cushions, a blanket, some blocks or books if you're home. And these are our props today that we will make use of. Okay, so to get started, you could be seated on your pillows or your bolster. You might be seated on your bed. And you can cross your legs if that's comfortable. I'll show you that here's an example of how blocks can be helpful. You can, if one leg is higher than the other, you can use the block to have added support. So why don't we just start with some breathing, and our inhale will be equal to our exhale to begin with. So you could inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 4. You could, your inhale and exhale might be longer, but just try to make them even, and that's what we'll start with. You can have your eyes open or closed. If they are open, you might want to cast them down. So let's just allow ourselves to settle. You can work towards lengthening your exhale. So that might be inhaling for 4 counts and exhaling for 6. Then you could work up inhaling for 4 and exhaling to 8, just to give you some ideas. But whatever is comfortable, that is our goal at all times with yoga. So we'll continue breathing. Following the breath of your body. We'll return back to your natural breathing pattern. And just take a moment to notice what you're noticing. And it's okay if there are some running thoughts through your mind right now about what you need to do next after this. That's okay. Just hopefully bring yourself back to devoting some self-care for the next few minutes today. All right, so basically our sequence, we're going to start on our back, and we'll work towards being seated, and then we'll be on all fours. And so basically, we're going to stay on the mat today. So let's go. All right. So we'll move our props out of the way, and we're going to come to lie on our back. All right. So just get comfy as you're on your mat or your bed. And the first thing we're going to do is kind of fun. We're going to roll back and forth. So you might, bring one knee out just to give yourself a little bit of a nudge. And so we're going to roll back and forth. That might feel really, really nice on your spine. Bring to breathe. And then we'll come to some stillness. Have your legs straightened out. Your hands are out to the side. The palms are facing up. And you'll inhale and point the toes. Stretch the fingers out. Exhale. Flex the feet. Make a little fist. Do that a couple more times. You can continue doing that, or if you'd like, you can bring your arms up overhead if that's comfortable for your shoulders. You might even feel good to clasp your hands and then make a pointer finger. This is called a crescent. And so when you inhale, you'll be stretching out as much as you can and pointing those fingers to the other wall, pointing the toes, stretching out the torso. And on the exhale, relax. Inhale. Stretch, stretch, stretch. One more. Next, we're going to come to what's called a 5-pointed star. So you'll bring your arms out, you'll bring your legs out. So it's kind of like making a snow angel. So here we are in our 5-pointed star. And you can have your palms facing down if you want to start with. And we'll inhale and exhale. And just enjoy this very broad stretching out. Might even feel nice to kind of pretend like we're making snow angels. Why not? Okay. We're going to be working on some bridge poses. And so if you're on a mat and you have socks on, it might be good to take your socks off so that you're not slipping on the mat. And I'm going to show you some variations of the bridge pose that we can do. And by the way, none of these variations are better than any other. It's just what is good for your body. So we're going to start with some very gentle, just kind of tilting our pelvis. So our feet are flat on the mat, our knees are bent. And so you can imagine like a bowl on top of your stomach, and you're kind of tipping it forward to your chest. Like maybe if you've got water in the bowl and you're trying to spill it onto your chest. And then we'll level out the hips again so the bowl is sitting upright. So we'll do that a few times. Making sure that you exhale when you're tipping your bowl of water onto your chest. Inhaling back. So these are some pelvic tilts. A very gentle way to introduce to a bridge pose. You can tighten your tummy as you're doing that tilt. All right, and now I'm going to reach over for one of my blocks as a prop to show you very nice restorative bridge pose. You basically take your block under your rear end, kind of at the base of your spine. So not all the way down at your tailbone. And you can rest in this pose. This is a restorative bridge pose. You can also change the height of the block, just depending on what's comfortable for you. And resting in this pose. And now we'll come out of the restorative bridge pose. And you can place your hands on the side of your body, bringing your feet closer to your rear end, lifting the hips up, inhaling. And if you want, you can kind of bring your shoulders together so that they're kind of propping your torso up. And you can inhale and lower. These are really good poses to do if you sit a lot, as it's stretching the front of your legs. We're moving slowly because this is one of the big ways that can really calm that nervous system. And you can hold your bridge pose for a few breaths if that would feel nice. Another interesting thing that you can do with your bridge pose is when you come up, you can lift your arms up too, and that's called a draw bridge. Bring it down. It also might be interesting just to, when you come up, just have your arms folded over your head. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next part, and that is you can kind of bring your knees towards your chest and just kind of rock back and forth on your back. This will help massage that spine again. Isn't it nice just to take some time and just kind of rock? It's kind of soothing. Okay. Now you can bring your feet back down to your mat. And we're going to lift them up, kind of like an L, placing your hands on the top of your knees. And on the inhale, and then the exhale, bringing your knees towards your chest. Inhale back. Exhale, knees coming toward your chest. And your fingers can be gliding on the top of your legs as you're doing this. This is called Apanasana. If it doesn't feel good to you to have your hands gliding on top of your legs, that's not absolutely necessary. You might even feel better for you to do it this way. Tightening the tummy when you're coming in on the exhale. Next, we'll do a spinal twist. This is also a nice place to use your blocks or your pillows. So we'll make our arms come out to a T, and then you'll drop your knees over to the right. You do not have to come all the way down. That's what the block can be for. And the back is going to continue to lie flat on your mat or your bed. The shoulder blades are both on your mat. If you come up, you're going to miss some of the benefits from the twist. The reason I'm discussing the prop is so that you don't feel like you have to twist further than what's safe for you. So I'll show it without the prop. You can also look over to the opposite side. And we'll inhale and exhale about 3 times here as we're resting. Okay, if your head is turned, you'll bring it back to the center. Bring your hands down to the side to support yourself, to be safe for your back. And then you'll bring your knees back up to that neutral position. Let's do a few of those apanasanas again before we twist on the other side. So just as a reminder, you inhale and exhale with the knees coming toward the chest. We'll bring our hands out to the side as a T, and you'll drop your legs over to the left. And again, if it is helpful for you to have your prop for your knees to lie on, and you can turn to the other side. We'll be here for about 3 breaths. Anything hurts, or sometimes things are different on one side than the other, then let's listen to your body. Okay, again, we'll bring our arms down and let ourselves shift. And we're going to come to seated. So let's roll over to our right side. Bring our hand in front of us and come carefully up. And now we can sit on a blanket. I think a bolster might be a little bit too high for what we're going to do next. So you'll come to your blanket and just notice which leg is in front, because that's going to be pertinent later. Okay, so we're going to begin with some side stretches as we're seated in our easy pose. It might be helpful to have your block, or you can place your hands directly on your mat or your bed. And then we'll inhale and exhale. As you're stretching over. And then we'll come over to this side. Now, if this is not comfortable for your shoulders, you can do cactus arms. Just try to tighten the belly, protect the back. Stretching those fingers. Now we're going to do some twists seated. So you'll inhale, and then you'll exhale and just turn over to your right. Over to the left. We'll do that a couple more times. To do a forward fold, and so definitely could be helpful to have some props. I'm going to bring my bolster over. You can even combine your props with taking the block underneath your bolster and just folding forward, or a forward fold. Have your head turned turn to the side, or you can bring it forward like so. And you'll walk your hands back. You'll bring them to the side of your hips. And then we're going to open up the chest. So we'll inhale, look up, open up your chest. Stretching up in front of the throat. And then exhale. Do that a couple more times. So now we're going to switch which leg is up front. So we'll bring the other leg up. And we'll do some lateral stretches again. And then we'll do our twist. Inhale and exhale. And it is not, with our twist, the point is not how far you can twist. In fact, I would not recommend that. That would be too much torque on your spine. But it's just just massaging your body as you're moving. You can look over your shoulder, kind of like when you're backing up your car. And we'll do our forward fold. This might feel different because it's the other leg in front of you. We'll walk back. And then we'll open up our chest, stretching the front of our throat. And 2 more breaths. Okay. So we're going to come to all fours. We're going to do this next part with our right knee out front. And maybe having your blocks handy too might be helpful too. So you're bringing your right knee up front. Now you can bring your hands to a prayer position if you'd like. Inhale and exhale, bringing your arms out. Next one, you can bring it to your heart and then turn to the side. So that left elbow might come towards that knee. Don't worry if it doesn't touch it, just what you're shooting for. You can unfold your hands and bring your left hand down to the mat, your right hand up to the ceiling, or it can be a cactus arm if you like, looking up at the hand. And then coming backward. And then bringing both knees side by side, hip width apart. I'm going to guide you in some lightning poses. So we'll inhale, arms up, or they can be cactus. And then we'll come down with your forehead down to the mat and turn to the side. And your hands go back to the lower back. Inhale up. And we'll look to the other side. Do a couple more. This is called a lightning pose. You can get a little extra if you'd like by changing which hand is on top each time it goes to your back. That kind of is a thing that can be helpful for our brains. Right? Now you can stay right where you are, but I'm going to turn because it's our left knee that's coming out. But you can stay where you are, but I'm moving so you can see what I'm doing. We'll bring our left knee out, hands to prayer. Inhale, exhale. Just noticing how your body feels. Next one. Come to a twist. You can bring that right hand down, the left hand up. Look at it. Now we're going to bring both knees together and we'll do some final lightning poses. And if you'd like to have one hand on top first, and on the next one, switching it out. It's increasing our neuroplasticity. To our seat. And now we're going to work towards our final relaxation. So you can lie flat on your mat if you would like. Sometimes it's very supportive to the lower back if you have some pillows underneath your legs. And that, of course, covering up with your blanket. I'm going to stay seated. We'll have some relaxation for about 3 minutes. And if you want to go longer than that, that would be just fine. So I'll let you get into the position that you would like to be. And if you took your socks off, it might be nice to put them back on because when we lie in our Shavasana, we can get a little chilly sometimes. My gosh, I'm thinking all you folks that might have done this sequence from your bed, you've got all your covers right there. Okay. So Shavasana is a very important part of yoga. It kind of lets us incorporate all that we've practiced. I'm going to read the entry from Beattie-The that's about strength. And then at the conclusion, we'll finish our practice today. We don't always have to be strong. Sometimes our strength is expressed in being vulnerable. Sometimes we need to fall apart to regroup and stay on track. We all have days when we cannot push any harder, cannot hold back self-doubt, cannot stop focusing on fear. I just feel like you cannot be strong. There are days when we cannot focus on being responsible. Occasionally, we don't want to get out of our pajamas. And sometimes we cry in front of people. We expose our tiredness, irritability, or anger. And those days are okay. Part of taking care of ourselves means we give ourselves permission to fall apart when we need to. We do not have to be perpetual towers of strength. We are strong. We have proven that. Our strength will continue if we allow ourselves the courage to feel scared, weak, or vulnerable when we need to experience those feelings. So to conclude, today, you have a higher power. Help me to know that it's okay to allow myself to be human. Help me not to feel guilty or punish myself when I need to fall apart. So if you're on your back, you can start wiggling your fingers and toes, maybe rolling your head back and forth, rolling to your right side, coming up to seated. And we'll finish today with bringing our hands together, inhaling and exhaling. Namaste.